CBS News congressional correspondent Nancy Cordes is in Metairie, Louisiana, outside New Orleans, and joins us now by phone. Nancy, right off the bat, I do want to ask you about this and how Republican lawmakers are responding, as well as the president responding to these town halls, where we do see, it looks like a number of people, but as we heard the president's spokesman talk about a little bit earlier, that he thinks it's a small representation.
Right, and he is right that just because you've got a group that is loud and impassioned doesn't mean that it's large, but it doesn't mean it isn't large either. And, you know, what we're seeing right now is protests taking place across the country in town halls in district after district, so they can't all be outsiders. A lot of the people that we and other media outlets have spoken to say, you know, they are from that district, and they're just frustrated with the direction of the country or the direction of the Trump administration, and they're looking to put the brakes on the Trump agenda if they can. And they're also specifically trying to take a message to those Republican lawmakers when it comes to Obamacare. If you are going to do away with Obamacare, what is your plan for replacing it? And that is, you know, really sort of organizing 101. You want to try and put pressure on the people who are making the decisions. That's what they're trying to do.
I want to point out, too, that you're following Senator Bill Cassidy, who's actually going to be having his own town hall where you're at later today. Do the people at these town halls have a singular message from what you're hearing? What are you expecting to hear today once this meeting gets underway? And how does Senator Cassidy feel about walking into potentially this type of situation?
Well, he's a pretty interesting case study because he is actually one of the few Republicans who actually has put forward a proposal for replacing Obamacare with a new system. He got together with Susan Collins of Maine, another Republican, and unveiled his plan a few weeks ago. And so that's part of the reason why we wanted to come here to Louisiana, to see if his constituents felt a little differently than some protesters that we've seen in other districts, whether they like his plan, whether they think it goes far enough. It's also interesting because there aren't that many Republicans who have gotten behind that plan yet, for the basic reason that there is widespread disagreement throughout the Republican Party about just how expansive a replacement for Obamacare should be. And there are a lot of Republicans who think that whatever replaces Obamacare should be a drastically scaled-back version. That's not what he's proposing, but, you know, it just shows you how difficult it is going to be for Republicans to come up with something that they can agree on, and you can start to see why there are so many people who rely on Obamacare who are a little bit nervous about the idea of repealing it before there's a replacement in the works.
You know, Nancy, with the resistance here, and even if it is a very vocal minority, it is still there. People have made comparisons to the past, some to 2010 and the Tea Party. Is there a lesson that can be learned from past protests that lawmakers have seen before to where they are now?
Yes, and organizers are very clear about the fact that they think that the Tea Party movement was successful primarily because it was a grassroots, organic movement of people within their own home districts putting pressure on their own legislators who, after all, if they want to get reelected, they have to make their constituents happy. And so that was a lesson to Democrats. This can't be some kind of top-down approach. You have to empower people within their districts, and that's what they're trying to do. The other thing that made the Tea Party so successful, and this is something that Democratic organizers know as well, is you can't go to one or two town halls and make a lot of noise and feel really good about the accomplishment and, you know, kind of go back to your life. It's really got to be sustained, and got to keep putting pressure on lawmakers, keep going to town halls, calling, writing, protesting, that kind of thing. That is, you know, what made Republican lawmakers really feel the heat back in 2009, 2010. They were getting pressure from the right, pushing them to the right, urging them to stand up to the president on Obamacare, on other issues, and they did. Now you've got a little bit of a different situation because these protesters aren't trying to push Democrats to the left. They're also trying to put pressure on Republicans to move more towards the middle because they say that President Trump's plans are outside of the mainstream, and they're very nervous not just about the plans for doing away with Obamacare, but also, you know, when it comes to a travel ban, when it comes to deportations, all of those things make at least this group of protesters pretty uncomfortable.
Nancy Cordes on the road for us. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.